That's odd.
Let's try that. Is that working? Okay. Yep. I'm here again, probably. Is it working? Yes. I confirmed. What's the stream? This is episode, I don't know, 23? Does that sound right? Of Corsairport. I'm Arthur Perkins, Apgamingreal. I've moved my mic further away from me so it's no longer on stream. Hopefully we have clearer audio quality without any of the side noise. I'm going to try to not to play with things on my desk, because apparently it makes a ton of noise in Zoom as well. Turned off my dehumidifier. We're now in cool sound heaven again instead of shitty sound hell. Sure, it's been 3 weeks since our last episode, but has Connor watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, the first 3 episodes? No, he hasn't. That's because... How do you know that? What do you mean, how do I know that? Connor, if you had watched it, you would have told me and said I did or didn't enjoy it.
It's true. I would have said something.
This was not a hard guess, Connor.
I mean, it might have just slipped my mind, and I could have been waiting to tell you on stream.
Your reaction told me, Connor. Your reaction told me everything I needed to know.
It's true. We ended up picking up a different show to watch next, so it's in the queue. It's just, you know, further down in the queue than you'd like.
I mean, what's in my queue right now is Korra. So.
Oh, Legend of Korra? Yeah.
Yeah. Rewatching it. Yep. Listen, here's the thing. At the second to last episode of Korra, they do a recap, but the recap is mostly about how Mako is the shittiest boyfriend in all of existence. And they do a really good job of framing it. But now that I'm rewatching the series, I'm like, wow, that was a fucking hit job. He is not the shittiest boyfriend. Everyone is shitty.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that Mako is a bad person. It's just that everyone on the show is a teenager and they're all fucking horrible to each other in the way you'd expect. The second to the last episode seemed to have been like, oh man, how can we set this up so that Kurosami will be a thing?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't even have to do the hit job on Mako to do that. I mean, nobody was dating him at that time.
It's fine.
He
was a huge jerk.
In the first season.
In every season. In the second season, his brother is like, can you help me? And Bolin, he's just like, figure it out yourself, Bolin. I'm busy trying to be a street cop. And then Bolin is like, well, fine, I'll just become a famous actor, I guess.
And then he does.
Yeah.
And then he, for like the rest of the season, is more of a babe magnet than Mako.
What can I say? Mako's a real shithead.
I thought this was like more of a martial artist sort of type of thing.
Oh man, if you haven't seen The Legend of Korra,
did you watch the original Avatar the last time?
Oh yeah, you definitely need to watch the original Avatar before you watch Korra, for sure.
Because it's a lot better.
It is a lot better.
It's different.
I liked the season with Zahir a lot. Because I thought he was a cool villain.
Look, Korra suffers from 2 things. The first is that
she's a terrible character.
Nickelodeon was going to cancel it at the end of each of its seasons, so it never made a multi-season arc because they always knew they were going to get canceled. And the second thing that holds them back is they decided to advance the settings technology by like 500 years, but cram it into only 80 years. And so now all of a sudden everybody's in the roaring 20s. And they're like, let's do the Charleston. Julie, do the thing. Yeah. And it's a little disconcerting when people still live in huts on the South Pole.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. The culture's cool, the way they explore that. They had some cool villains. And I did appreciate that Korra was a bad avatar. And that was
horrible.
Her. And that,
absolutely terrible.
Yeah, and that was what she had to overcome. I liked that. It wasn't just like a stereotype, I need to get stronger. It's like, no, she just doesn't know how to do the thing and she needs to learn how to do it. and she's bad at
My
learning
man
it.
Tenzin on here trying to hold it down. Everybody's just like, "You're a bad brother, Tenzin. You're a bad teacher, Tenzin. You're a bad counselor, Tenzin." I'm like, "Oh shit! This show, Tenzin is carrying the entire cast on his back."
Yep.
You kidding me?
He was the shit for sure.
All right. So in the end, Cora brought us the greatest fictional sport of all time, pro bending.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Pro
true.
bending is dope.
And their animation for the pro bending was really good.
Yes. Yeah.
It was like they definitely did those scenes very right. And the whole Amon arc was really cool and had a good twist, I thought.
So Connor, to answer your question, in order to use the magical element of your people, you have to perform specific martial arts moves.
Mm-hmm.
And so every element has its own specific kind of dance. But then there's this one person called the Avatar who can use all the elements, and they're like, "Oh man, how do I chain dance move together?" Technically, everything I've said is true, and that's literally how the show goes.
Until you get Cora and they throw it all out the window because pro bending.
She's just so good that she chains all the dance moves together.
Well, no, they like all the pro bender movements throws the martial arts almost completely out of the window. They literally punch the air and whatever element they have.
That's true. That's true.
And that it was still looked really cool, but it was a little disappointing to have
in the
them
non-pro
develop.
bender fights. Though they go back to the traditional style where earthbenders need to make a double fist and go "Rah!"
Yeah, pretty much.
In my conversations with the team that works on Immortal, they were sort of saying that Korra was the more adolescent storyline versus Last Airbender, which was more like targeted towards like 8-year-olds or something.
Not even close.
No. The target audience was probably about the same age, but I mean, the age of the main character.
I've definitely Avatar was PG-13 and Korra was pushing 18 plus.
Okay, then that's yeah. I'm getting the age is wrong, but that's the idea that they were sort of saying.
They did have some pretty serious concepts.
I mean, they literally talk about fucking constantly. They're like, "Oh man,
that's true.
You should have seen back in the day my boy Tenzin. He broke up with me, so I decided to destroy the air temple." And then they're like, "Here's Tenzin's backstory. He was engaged to his aunt's best friend, but then he decided to go with the younger, more excitable woman because he needs to have a bunch of kids to carry on the airbender legacy since he's the last airbender."
Who wasn't a bender.
What?
Yeah.
When that scene came around, I was like, "Damn, my boy Tenzin. Wow, that's cold-blooded, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Sounds like he played some Crusader Kings.
Yeah.
Don't even talk to me about Crusader Kings. Everyone's losing their mind over this game. I don't know how good it is.
It's
all
amazing.
People will do is say, "Wow, the login page looks good."
It's a good game.
Okay. All right, we can't keep talking about Korra and the Avatar all day. Connor, you're drawing something.
Yeah.
That's a good time to interrupt you.
Sure.
Yeah. What's been going on with you? What's with you?
Not much. Just been dealing with some family stuff and working on White Ash and the Immortal. The Adept. So yeah, just quiet with me.
All right. What's been in your mouth?
What?
Yeah, it's where I ask you what you've eaten interestingly lately. What's been in your mouth?
Very nothing very exciting. Today we had mac and cheese and some kind of chopped meat, ground beef, for dinner. That's about it. That's about as exciting as it gets around here. Yeah, we've been actually taking on watching Band of Brothers again. Well, for me, it's the second time. My wife is the first time, and we've been enjoying that.
Excellent show.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me. I watched it probably around when it came out, and of course, that's about 20 years ago. So
yeah,
it's enjoyable.
Wait, did you say Band of Brothers came out 20 years ago?
It's like
came out in 2001.
Is that real?
Yeah. Because I think I watched it in
That's the same year Phantom Menace came out, right?
Oh shit.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Oh man, the wheel of time never stops turning.
Yeah. Don't you feel old now?
Yeah, I always feel old, but now I feel really old.
I'll get it for you, Tail. I'll get it. Cotton, what's going on with you?
I'm Cotton. I haven't done a whole lot. I got a swanky new tablet for my birthday.
Excellent.
And
your glove.
it had a glove in it. Got a glove. And then I got sick for a while, and then I got better, and then I haven't done anything since.
What's been in your mouth?
I haven't ate a lot today. I had daycare food. So
What was that involved?
A
Probably
hot
like
dog,
super soft carrots.
cucumbers cut in fun shapes, and an orange slice.
Mm.
And an optional glass of milk that I refused because I don't like milk.
You don't like milk?
It will make me sick.
Why?
I'm shocked.
Well, okay.
Do you like the flavor though? Or did
No.
you at one point? No? Okay.
I tolerated the flavor.
Uh-huh. Yeah. My wife
I
doesn't
like chocolate milk,
either.
but I can't drink that much either. That's all. Let's go to Shep.
Don't
No?
think you can get away, Cotton.
What?
We'll definitely go to Shep next, but I want to hear about the story about how you and Pondo broke the bed.
Oh, you're putting
Yeah, no, don't worry. I just wanted to tell that story so people would get the wrong idea.
I got to watch it, and it was hilarious because he sat on the bed to put his shoes on, and he stood up, and instead of coming up, he went down with the bed. And after I found out he was okay, it was funny.
The way that he phrased that story the other night made it so easy to make fun of him.
I bet.
Sounds like it's vaguely possible to make fun of him even still.
There's no
Yeah.
vagueness
it was
about
funny. I wish I had taken a video because I thought it was funny.
All right.
And then he got out of cleaning the living room because he went and fixed the bed.
Wow. Incredible 4D chess move there then. Shep, Cotton had passed it on to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm robSHEPart. I haven't been doing much either. What's been in my mouth? Just my frappe. I had some oatmeal with some almond yogurt and sesame seeds, and so it was pretty good. And I've been doing a little bit of drawing. I'm back on stream Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays during midday for California time. And then still working on the projects for doing the, the quest modules. So still working on the quest module stuff. That's it. John, how about you?
All I've been doing is work. I also haven't eaten a lot today like Cotton, but it's my day off, so I generally don't really eat much. I've done some consulting, mostly just data analytics stuff, and then working at Domino's to make people pizza. Nothing fancy.
To make people happy.
You know,
Yeah.
I recently heard you can't make everyone happy. You're not pizza. And as someone
You're
who
not
formerly
cheap.
worked at Domino's, I cannot stress that this is the wisest thing I have ever heard.
I forgot.
Although the eternal battle between pineappleites and non-pineappleites will rage in the skies for the ages.
You like pineapple or not pineapple on pizza?
Tell John how many deliveries you've done, AP.
Well, I mean, I stopped counting after the 10,000 and I got my plaque. I mean,
Nice.
what's the point in counting after that point?
Yeah. So you were a driver?
I was a driver, and then I became an assistant manager who spent all their time driving.
Oh yeah, I was the same before I became a GM. And I also lost track because I was at Papa John's before that, and I have no idea. It's like almost 10 years of driving. I have no clue how
Once
many
you
deliveries.
pass 10,000, you know,
Yeah.
every delivery is the same. Someone is going to do something stupid.
Yep.
Probably once a night, someone is going to send you to the wrong address, especially if there's 4 campsites that all have the same name.
Yeah.
And a drunk person goes, "Yeah, I'm at the Shenandoah XYZ." You get there and you call them back, and they're like, "Oh, hey, man, I'm actually, like, I talked to somebody." And I'm like, "That's on literally the other side. I'm going to be like an hour."
Yeah. Yeah. That's I can't say I enjoy those times, and fortunately that doesn't happen at our store very often, but it does happen occasionally. It used to happen at the store that I was a driver at all the time because nobody spoke English. Like, it was largely Hispanic demographic, and a lot of them didn't speak English. So like the addresses got messed up a lot.
Rough. Online ordering makes that so much simpler now.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That started to be a thing when I started driving. Boy, did it make a huge... Did they ever make you read Pizza Tiger? The biography of the Domino's founder?
We watched a video on it at for my franchise, and then I had the opportunity to read like that, but I chose not to because I didn't want to.
Trust me, it was a huge waste of your time.
Yeah, I'm good. We did also have to watch a video on our personal franchisees and how they moved to this country with no money and started their store with no money. And it's just like literally he was living in his car and now he has 120 stores.
It's a good number of stores, but that video sounds like a whole waste of time.
It was.
As long as they paid you to attend, I guess that's fine.
Yeah, they did, fortunately. I mean, it's required by law in California, so.
Pizza Tiger, by the way, is probably the longest rant against the United States Marine Corps you will ever find. He was very mad that he thought he was signing up for the U.S. Army, and in fact signed up for the Globe and Anchor. And then there was some stuff about pizza.
They didn't want to talk about all the his very, very, very first car.
I don't remember. It's been like 20 years since I've read that book.
My parents were in Ann Arbor when Domino's was founded, and they bought one of the first like Domino's delivery vehicles for their first car they bought by themselves, and it came with like 15 sets of keys, only one of which actually opened the door. The other ones were like for the trunk. It is terrible Ford Pinto.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yeah, with like 250,000 miles on it.
Last Domino's story before everyone here gets put to sleep. One of my drivers drove like some sort of European 1970s, 1980s sports car. I'm going to say it was like a Scorpion or something. I have no recollection of the actual name, but he had 5 copies of it. And probably once or twice a week he wouldn't be able to make it into work because he was taking parts from one of them to fix the other one. It was a disaster.
That's funny.
Couldn't get rid of him because he was the longer term driver. He'd been driving for Domino's for like 10, 20 years, and we just couldn't get rid of him even though his car was constantly breaking.
I hate that problem.
Do we talk about what's been in your mouth?
I haven't eaten a lot. I had pizza today, but it wasn't Domino's. It was DiGiorno.
I mean, wow, yikes. I'm not even gonna go into that one. Better off just making your own pizza at that point.
It was just what I had. It was in the freezer and it was easy.
Sure, that much is true.
Yeah.
All right, listen, audience, I got beef with you. You talk about how wasteful driving is and transporting an SUV to deliver one person. 99.9% of my life, I would agree with you. And until March, I was one of those, SUVs are for dumb people. I don't need that shit. I'm going to just drive my medium-sized sedan for the rest of my life. And then it's like an apocalypse. Suddenly, everyone is either inside or a complete idiot. And I'm like, man, if the end of the world comes and I need to leave, I better be able to drive through stupid people. So now I have an SUV. I'm never letting it go.
Yeah, my wife wants an SUV bed.
I have.
That's for the baby seat.
My SUV with the passenger seats down is enough to get all of my camping equipment, all of my emergency supplies, my guns, my fuel, my generator, put it all in the back and drive away. Wherever I go, I can set up an entire campsite. That's it. So normally, I'd agree with you that SUVs are bad. Now, I don't agree with you because people are dumb.
But if they're only talking about deliveries, then in the case of
delivery
you don't
in an
need,
SUV, I think is a bit of a waste.
I don't know. My Jeep Grand
Depends on your
Cherokee,
tips, I suppose.
Yeah, my Jeep Grand Cherokee gets almost the same gas mileage as my Hyundai Elantra.
Oh yeah, listen, it was scary going from my 99 Accord to my CRV and having the same gas mileage.
Yeah,
It's like, how did that happen? I guess engines are just more efficient now.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone got any other pro tips to share before we get started? Connor, you want to explain what it is you're drawing, actually?
I mean, it's just random stuff, whatever comes to my head.
All right. Well, who's this person in the back? They look like Krillin from Dragon Ball Z.
I was
Yeah,
just
I mean,
about the
same
dots.
I was about to say, he looks like a Dragon Ball Z character.
Yeah.
We were talking about, Avatar. I always think in correlation to Dragon Ball, just because that was my sort of anime from that genre. And so I think of Krillin. He's always fun to draw.
I would not equate Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z with accurate martial arts.
Is Avatar accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of research into it, Connor.
Yeah,
Okay.
they hired professionals to develop
Not
like
the
martial
movie.
arts
Skip the
moves.
movie.
Yeah, not the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The series is really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a physicality to it.
There's a physicality to Dragon Ball.
There's a lot of
cattle gun. Yeah, tell me more, Connor, about the physicality of Dragon Ball. The dude who puts 2 fingers to his forehead and teleports behind you. Yeah.
Nothing personal, kid. I mean, he's got the monkey tail and he swings around on it. That's pretty physical.
Oh boy.
Yep.
I don't know what to do with that, Connor. Previously on this show, we spent 4 hours investigating whether or not an aboleth was an aboleth, and then they decided that aboleth was too tough to fight, that God was warning them away. Now they've decided to do something else. We cut in on the 4 of you standing at the exit to town, doing something else.
You want to check with those woodcutters to see if they know anything about where those 2 adventurers went off to?
Yeah.
Sure, we can ask him.
All right.
Was it 2 or was it 4?
I think it was 2.
I think Terrel said 2, but I'm not sure.
Because we've met a lot of adventurers, and I don't know how many of them are missing.
Suddenly music started.
It's the new town BGM, bro.
Oh, nice. All right, so I guess we wander over to the woodcutters to see if they're up and around.
So you head to the 7 woodcutters. They are outside, of course, chopping down trees. One of them stops, the one who's directing the work of the other 6. Comes over, it's the oldest, grandpa one. His beard has been turned into something closer to dreadlocks. Much neater now that there's just 6 rows of beard now. He shakes his head and his shaggy seaweed-like hair goes, "Oh, what can I do for you?" As he gives a slight bow towards Lyra.
Lyra will bow back. Do you know that other group of adventurers that was in town? Do you remember them?
Which group? There were 2 groups.
I don't remember which group was missing.
They're both not here.
Which one did Terrel tell us was missing?
She told you that everyone had left her tavern, which was both groups. They haven't
I
returned.
believe it was if I recall correctly, I believe it's the taller fella with the thinner, smaller woman.
So he says, "Oh yeah, I didn't catch their names, but I think they were brother and sister."
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, I think I saw them a few times looking at you, good prince.
Yes.
Seemed like maybe they didn't like you too much.
Yeah, but it seems like we're not quite. And people in town are worried as to where they are. So, I mean, whether they like me or not doesn't matter to me. But if they go missing, if we see them on the road, we'd like to see if they're okay. Do you happen to know which way they went?
Well, they left town east on an adventure with that other adventuring group.
Is that so? Interesting. East,
Yeah.
you say?
Yeah, they think they were going to act as porters, carrying their stuff, setting up campsites, that sort of thing.
Did you hear about where they were headed other than east?
So he wipes his brow and says, I don't really know. I'm sure I heard it, but, I don't know the place names, the pronouns for the things you guys have out there. This and that, next thing. We don't really like to go into the forest. It's a forbidden, cursed place.
Yes, of course. Well, at least we have a cardinal direction east. Provides some assistance. Thank you very much.
Well, it was weird. They just kind of all looked at each other before setting off and then just silently started walking into the forest. I remember that much.
Do you know?
What were they talking about?
They weren't talking about anything. They were silent. That was the weird part,
Would you say their behavior was, well, you're saying that they were being weird, huh? If they weren't talking, were they completely silent on the road trip out?
Yes. That is generally what is involved in silence.
Well, they might be making small banter or something. Who knows? But yeah, okay, fine. That is curious. Interesting.
They look solemn?
When they walked away from us, all I could see were their backs.
I meant before that.
I'm not sure. Anything I could tell you would be memories of almost a week ago. I didn't pay it too much mind.
Sure, of course. You're a busy man. We understand.
He quietly leans in, he says, mostly I was eyeing up the cleric. She's a beautiful woman, and at my age, you don't find many people interested in talking to you. It might have been a little distracted.
Did she come by and talk to you?
Oh, we talked many times over the last few weeks.
Is that so? What do you mind if I ask what you two were talking about?
I would mind greatly.
I see. Okay. So if they went missing, do you think there's anything that you talked about that would be of assistance to finding them?
How much do you want to know about Dargor Brightward and his toes, his general smell, way he doesn't clean his laundry?
His toes?
Oh yes, Belle had a lot to say about his toes. Quite a disgusting sight to look upon.
Maybe another time. So I don't think that's going to be relevant if they went missing. Okay. Well, if that's all you have, that's been very helpful. Thank you very much.
As you walk away from him, the town background music fades, letting you know a significant NPC encounter is over.
I liked the background music. It was very peppy.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we shall head east. I mean, maybe we could take a look at the monument on our way out. That's generally east. Is that incorrect?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like east, southeast.
According to the map you had up, it was.
Yeah, because this direction is east, if anyone doesn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So they could have gone to the prison of the Elborod King or the monument, or the desert.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's head to the prison, I suppose, first to see if that signpost is still up.
The danger, keep out, don't come in sign
Yes.
Yeah, that sign.
that we ignored last time.
Yes.
Okay.
They could have ignored it too.
They live for danger. So, Terrel, when your book hears that you're going to a place with a sign that says not to go in, the book is just like, hey, Terrel, can we talk privately? Can you walk us over there, like away from these people?
Okay, so I'll kind of walk off to the side.
Look, I know that our conversations are a bit more somber, and you know, there's a little less going on. I am, of course, receiving a lot of mana from this mysterious island, but you know, I've always had a general liking to you, and I'd really rather you not get killed in the middle of a forest in the end of nowhere, and your body gets eaten by wolves or worse. Do you really know these people, and are you getting paid to do this? Like, you need to take care of yourself.
Well, not at the moment, as far as payment, but that doesn't mean payment can't happen. And I mean, our job is to learn about the area and discover things. So, I mean, it's not bad to go exploring. Doesn't mean I won't be careful.
So you don't really have any long-term plans in terms of getting paid then?
Well, we just got here.
Okay. You're pretty sure the book is deeply troubled.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'll wander back to the group.
Okay. By this time, you're done packing Echo to go on this trip, and Echo's just like, Ashe.
Yes?
She moves her head. She's speaking to you telepathically, of course, but she moves her head and says, let me take you aside. Let's talk over here.
Okay. I follow.
We never really had that conversation.
Which one is that?
The one where you were going to explain to me what the long-term goals of this group and your relationship with Lyra were.
The long-term goals of this group are still the same. We're trying to, I mean, me personally, I'm trying to discover the Will of Guzengas in this island. I believe it's here somewhere.
But didn't you already discover the Will of Guzengas?
Not to, you know?
I'm pretty sure that happened.
No. I don't think so.
It's literally a whole scene where it happened. But
What, really?
yeah, you were like, I will worship on the idea of Guzengas about my destiny, and the answer you got was your destiny is right here, literally in this exact spot. And you're like, all right, maybe I'll come back later.
Wait, I don't remember that at all.
It happened at the...
Pretty sure it was freeing the drow or something.
No, well,
Oh.
that was a funny legend I made up. No,
Yeah.
You asked for guidance when you were in front of the Death River next to the Immortal Ball of Infinite Destruction.
Right. Okay, if you say so. It's been a little while. I'm sorry, AP.
Echo
Anyway, yep.
shakes her mane and begins trotting back to the rest of the group and goes to just stand next to Lyra.
All right, I guess I return back to the group and we head out to adventure.
Yes, but which adventure? There are many adventures.
Well, we'll find out on the way.
But I'm literally asking, what's your destination?
Can we attempt to find the missing adventurers?
How would you like to do that?
Can
First,
I see if they left any tracks?
Yes, this is going to be a disadvantage because it's been over a week and it's rained at least once since then.
Can I help?
Do you have survival as a skill?
Nope. Does Echo have a survival?
Echo. listen, if Echo actually does have proficiency in survival, I'll allow for this.
I have to find her. Okay, I'm in the wrong character. Hold up.
All right, I can have my owl help.
Yeah, that makes more sense than a horse.
So is it just normal if the owl helps?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just roll it. I got a 13.
You find bits and pieces, broken twigs from fallen branches. The ground around here is hard, but you catch an occasional boot print. It still is just kind of a cone leading east. You lose it for a few hundred feet and then pick it up again, and it's always in this vaguely eastish direction, both north and south.
Okie doke. I can kind of track them, not really. It's just pointing me what you already know that they've gone this direction.
It works for me. We'll pick up something on the way.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll head to the prison of Elbarad to see if there's any action up over
The
there.
prison of Elbarad King.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I try and follow this like broken path to see if it actually leads that way?
As you travel to the prison of Elbarad King, you do find that the path leads you in that direction.
This seems to be the right way.
About halfway to the prison, all signs of their passing end.
Like abruptly?
Yes. You circle around back a few times, and at some point it just stops.
And I have the owl kind of fly around the area to see if he sees anything around us.
Do some recon.
Absolutely. Make a perception check.
Cool. It has advantage on that, by the way, because it's one of its abilities.
Yes. Now.
Yeah. Just making sure. That was terrible.
Not with that roll.
All right.
That's a better roll.
17 plus 18. That's its total.
So, in the distance, there are several things. First, there is a brief clearing, which is directly east of you, where you believe your friends are leading you to, the prison of Elbarad King. There is like a burst of trees and then like birds exiting the area, as if to indicate something has passed there, like right now, like recently. Even though it's still a few miles away, you know that there must be something moving there. Second is that at the far edge of your vision to the southeast, because the bird is so much higher up than you, it can see a plume of smoke coming at the very southeast edge of his vision.
Okay. I will relay all that information to the group. That there's some sort of clearing and there's some smoke off to the southeast. Does it look like a campfire? Or is it hard to tell, just smoke?
For it to be visible at this range, it must be massive.
Gotcha. Okay, so there's something going down, potentially.
How far away is it?
Hard for an owl to tell.
Yeah, it's about as far as the owl can see in distance, far enough away.
Interesting.
Keep on your toes, then.
Yeah.
Better
Hey, you know
not
that
be
old
one of our
saying,
fire
20
pits.
miles as the owl flies.
So are we continue or are we...
Well, I say when there's smoke, there's fire. Let's check it out.
Okay.
So I suppose let's make our way to that fire. Maybe, I mean, not like...
So you all can't see it in the tree line. Only
Right.
the owl
Yeah.
flying hundreds of feet above.
Well, the
so
owl can keep on,
Yes, the
Flying
owl can
above
give
us,
you
right?
direction.
and then
Yeah.
we follow the owl.
Very well.
And hopefully, if the owl gets close, maybe the owl can see what exactly is there.
Yeah.
So, because you're moving slower than normal in order to accommodate for tracking, this is roughly where you end up by the end of the day. As the sun begins to set, immediately mist begins to come out of the base of every tree. Everything becomes cold and misty.
Well, I suppose it's time to set up camp then, right?
Probably.
Want me to take care of that, Lyra?
Oh, you can do it?
Haven't we established that Ashe is absolutely terrible at this?
It was
Yes.
Gizmo, I think.
No, it was Ashe.
It was
I'm
Ashe?
pretty sure, I'm pretty sure it was
I'm
Ashe.
pretty sure it was Ashe.
Oh, my bad.
I feel like Gizmo failed his save too, so
Yeah, Gizmo didn't do a good job either, but Ashe, I believe we've memed it into being a Ashe point of failure.
In the kindest way possible, you all are very, very bad at setting up camps.
Maybe you could show me how. Happy to learn.
All right.
As
I'll
that
watch you do it.
happens, Ashe, I want to be clear that you hear in your mind telepathically, nice, nice.
Well, yeah. So Ashe will follow you around and take notes or something. Oh, very educational. Very
I
educational.
thought you were setting up the camp. I'm just giving you pointers.
Okay, then fine.
Okay, Ashe,
I'll be doing that as you give me instructions.
make a roll at advantage.
All right.
Gizmo recon the area while they're setting up camp.
Yeah, as I will as well.
This
All right,
is
the two
survival.
of you
right?
make perception checks.
This is survival, right, AP?
Yep, at advantage.
13.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Oh,
that
nice,
was,
Gizmo.
but thank you for it, whatever that was. I heard predator alerts, but I hadn't reset it to the new thing.
Oh, I pressed the wrong thing.
Okay, 13
Perception.
survival.
No, I pressed the wrong. I didn't press the button, but it's perception at it's 18.
Okay. So with the 13 survival, Ashe, you get the very rudimentary fundamentals of setting a camp up. Everyone's tent has a rain cover on it. There's tarps down. There is a small fire, which is working its way up to being a larger fire. It's not fancy, but you can live in it.
Good start.
You know, it lacks like a trench along the outside and a designated bathroom area and all the other stuff you'd expect from a more experienced camper, but you also, your skill is good enough that if you have any food on you, you can make dinner for everyone. Unless you wanted to leave that to somebody else.
I'm happy to try, unless you want to show me how, Lyra. It's up to you.
Let Lyra make dinner.
Ooh.
You can help me. How about that?
All right. Sounds good to me.
All right, Ashe.
What
In
you
your
need?
mind, telepathically, you hear, nice. Lyra, are you using your chef feat?
Yeah, sure. I'll use my chef feat.
Okay, well, as a survivalist, what are you, like a hermit? Do you automatically gather enough food for everybody? Is that part of
I
your
am
skill?
a hermit.
All right, so as part of moving around today, you've gathered enough food and water. What are you turning it into? Are you making dessert? Are you making food?
I'm gonna make supper first,
Very well.
and then a dessert in the
Bratosaurus is
morning.
dying right now. He's like, oh, they're going to talk about food again.
What about?
Oh, Food Dungeon released today.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh.
it's not called Food Dungeon. It's called
Dungeon
Dragon
Meshi,
Stew.
right? Oh, no.
But I'm
Oh,
turning it into a
congratulations.
tabletop RPG called Food Dungeon. So,
Sweet. Is that what you're doing that campaign setting thing for?
yes. No, not that one. No. I've already done the campaign setting. Food Dungeon's been ready to go for about a year and a half, and I've got about $1,000 worth of art for it. So,
Right.
Food Dungeon has been waiting for Dragon Stew for a very long time.
And what night are you doing food dungeon?
When I have an available night, I'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Cotton. We were going to talk about what you're going to make for dinner with available materials from a forest.
I'm gonna make wild game ramen.
Oh boy. Talk to me about how you make the noodles. That's everything else is fine.
You can make vegan noodles without eggs.
Oh.
And
How
you kind of like make
quickly
it
does
taste.
that come together?
The noodles aren't like super fancy, but she does it like, you know.
Okay.
She more like cuts the noodles to make it faster than like pulls them.
Okay. You're just using flour,
Kind of
water,
similar
and
to
salt
how my
then?
grandma does, yeah.
Okay. All right.
And all the flavor from the noodles is going to come from the broth instead. I've got the outline of things, so maybe I got some squirrels, so I can boil the squirrel meat to make a broth.
Sure.
And add little bits of it left in there for a little flavor. I also have veggies and mushrooms.
Yeah. I mean,
And
that's probably where the broth is going to come from is
that
those
too.
mushrooms.
Well, you can boil the bones and the innards of the squirrel and then pull
Oh,
them
no
out
doubt,
to make
no
an even
doubt.
flavorful
But
broth.
I'm assuming that, 2 squirrels are not going to bring you a 4-person campsite worth. I'm thinking it's going to have a
No.
strong mushroom flavor.
Yeah. I also had, you said just seasoning, so I'm going to put some like garlic in there and some
Some
peppercorn.
cumin, some mustard seed, oregano.
Yeah.
Sweet paprika instead of smoked. Sorry, I've been making a bunch of soups lately.
I love making soups. Soups is my favorite.
I'm losing my mind making soups. I'm like, wow, this is what has been missing from my life. Lunch involving warm, salty broth. That's it.
If green onions counted in the root vegetables, I'd cut those up too.
Yes.
Toss them in there. Yep, I'll make that. I don't have any eggs, otherwise a nice one on top would be great.
Fantastic. I've been asked to remind everybody that it is Simping September, so make sure you choose your favorite waifu at some point. Or husbando. You know how it goes. You create wild game ramen, which is surprisingly... It's gonna take you, like, several hours to do it. Just making the noodles alone is like a full hour. But after several hours of work, you do in fact have a incredibly wild... Is this a recipe from your homeland, from Lastport?
I think it's an adapted recipe from my homeland with what I could find on my travel.
Fantastic. All right, the rest of you have literally never seen anything like this. It looks like a normal adventurer stew where you throw whatever you want in the pot, but for some reason it seems way more appetizing.
It's amazing.
Brilliant work as always.
Thank you.
I don't know what happened. How come we haven't had this good cooking from the very beginning?
Because I didn't like you guys yet.
Yeah, there we go.
We're an acquired taste, it seems.
That is fine. I have been told that about myself as well.
Well, it smells wonderful. Look forward to it.
And so
it
how was I
tastes like my
helping?
home.
How was I helping while you were doing that?
There's a lot of chopping involved.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, chopping. All right.
She made you cut all the onions.
Ashe gets a lot of right arm.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
Action. Listen, I don't understand people crying with onions. You know, you can just put them in the refrigerator, and when they're cold, they don't make you cry, right? Like
They make me cry no matter what, because my eyes are super sensitive.
I can't.
my eyes are
I
believe
can't
it.
even be in the kitchen if someone else is cutting the onions.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Same.
Yeah.
Or when my dining room's attached to the kitchen, I don't even stand there.
Have you
My
tried using the
onions-
match?
I've tried chewing gum. I've tried wearing goggles. I've tried everything.
Stan Cotton.
Some people just have sensitive eyes, AP. My eyes will tear up like with the wind. They're just really bad. When I'd be like walking around New York City, which gets very windy.
Does it? Does it, Connor? Does the grid formation of the buildings lead to horrifying temperature drops from massive wind? Tell me more, New Jersey boy.
Look, I mean, not everyone knows that, so that's why I said it.
Okay. You know what? I'll buy that, Connor. I'll actually buy that.
Not everyone's been to New York, you know. And the first thing
to New York.
Yeah, and the first thing you don't think of when you think of New York isn't like, oh, wind, yeah. So yeah, it'd be very windy, and like I'd be walking around crying. Yeah,
I would say in New York, hot dogs, wind, rude people, and giant buildings.
Isn't the windy city Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not like it's the freight. You know, if it was like, oh, I don't think of apples, it's like, well,
no, Connor, this month you try surviving a winter in New York City, my friend. You'll know it gets effing cold.
I did so for many years.
All that wind.
Yeah, I did so for many years. Not just
the wind. Nothing.
It's also the snow that gets super dirty. It's nasty.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
Where were we?
You were being served.
Soup.
Yeah, about to eat.
On the other hand, for Gizmo and Terrel, while you are wandering in spirals and circles, making sure that the campsite is secured, you do see numerous animals, including a pair of wolves and several other scavenger type animals. They appear to recognize fire and people with steel weapons and decide this is not a quick meal for them and turn away.
Good news.
So we appear to be secure. There's nothing in the area for now. That soup does smell good. I'm ready to have some.
Smells like wet squirrel and mushroom.
Yeah.
I love mushroom. Well, and spices.
Yes, that's true. It's actually going to be super spicy.
Yeah. Did you use any of your saffron?
No, I think she's scared to use it.
What kind of monster uses saffron in a soup?
Monster.
I'm scared to use it. I don't know what saffron is good for.
Everything. Saffron is good at bringing a mellow flavor to all things. Listen, just to remind everybody, saffron is a substance that, weight for weight, costs more than gold. Some have said it is the most valuable substance on the planet Earth. It's really tough to get an ounce, which is exactly how much I have of saffron in my kitchen.
How much did it cost you to get 1 ounce of saffron?
Well, I'd prefer not to say, but it's still cheap, shitty saffron, and it cost me way more than I'd care to repeat.
He had to sell his soul.
That would assume that I even had one to start with.
So,
what's the
I
plan?
suppose we tuck in for the night.
You have 4 people, which means you don't need to take a 10-hour rolling watch schedule anymore.
Well, we could just use the owl.
The owl also has to sleep.
No.
No?
Nah.
Do familiars not have to sleep?
I actually am not sure.
Yeah, check on that, because that means Echo shouldn't be sleeping either.
I'm sure if it's an owl.
Echo is not a
more.
familiar, to be clear. Echo does need to sleep.
I mean, they're a spirit, so.
Summon creatures are basically real animals. They need to sleep.
It's not a summon, though, is it?
Yes, it is.
Echo's a summon.
Yeah.
The only creatures that do not need sustenance and sleep have it called out in their stat blocks. So, yes, the owl and Echo both require sleeping and eating on a regular basis.
Okay. Well,
Gizmo, take first watch.
all right, I'll take the midnight watch.
Okay?
I can
Is
go after.
the midnight watch the second watch?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, sorry. That second watch gets you up to midnight. Third watch is starting midnight.
Then I'll take the second watch.
Okay. Is that leaving Terrel doing the morning shift?
Sure.
All right. Can I have everybody make a group survival check? You'll need at least half of the group to succeed at this.
Of course.
Wow.
Wait, I thought the 23 was Gizmo's for a second and I got excited.
No, that was last roll. Now it's an 8.
Yeah, I read it. Yep, I see that. That's
I got the highest survival roll. Woo.
woo.
You're learning. You're learning.
Oh, wait, is it survival or perception? Oh, I guess it's survival.
It's survival. Make it through the night. Terrel, you are awoken early, and you get perhaps your first look at just how weird this forest is. Right as you would assume dawn is cresting the eastern ridge of the island, which you can't see because, again, you're in an extremely heavy forest, all of the mist around you begins to dissipate, and the temperature of the air sharply rises over the course of 5 minutes, up to a more normal, temperate mid-70s.
And it's the temperature that wakes me up.
Well, this is during your watch, so...
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Right at the end of your watch when you're supposed to wake everybody up. It's breakfast time.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
All right, all of you are up and about. Some of you need to take something close to an hour in order to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
Ashe packs all of the tents away.
Yep.
What do you do?
You're getting pretty good at that, Ashe.
I want to quickly make some treats for that cooking thing.
Fantastic.
While she's doing that, I'm going to ask Terrel, what does he make of kind of the unusual weather that this island exhibits?
Well, based on what you said, I assume it's not like anything I've seen anywhere else in the world. Yeah, it's very extreme and bizarre.
Nothing in that book of yours, maybe, that might sort of explain?
I don't know. Would I have anything in my book that would explain?
No.
Yeah.
No?
Knowledge of this island is completely unknown. It was only discovered 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, there isn't anything that's general, like maybe about weather.
Yeah,
Certainly
extreme
you can
temperature
investigate for weather-based phenomenon, of course.
Okay.
Make an Arcana check.
Wow. With a
You're
+6.
aware that terrain manipulation and weather manipulation are a thing. Not your forte. Did not study it, and your notes in your book incomplete.
Bummer.
How about let me throw this at you? Why don't you know more about this subject? What were you doing instead of learning this?
That's a great question.
He was learning bookiology, the art of studying books.
I'm sorry, one more time?
Oh, I said bookiology, the art of studying books. I was
yeah.
being sarcastic.
Oh.
What did you actually do during that time, though?
Oh, I was studying my book itself and how to awaken it instead of learning about
yes.
Yeah.
So you actually did study bookiology.
Yeah, literally bookiology.
Ashe, when you look at Terrel, he flips through his book and makes some like wise nods, but you can tell that there's not a lot going on over there. There's a lot of flip, and then read for 5 seconds, and then make like oh, that's interesting, and then flip.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Ashe is a little bit disappointed.
Ash is like, well, my childhood friend Wynn would know all about this.
She's a very curious sort, it's true.
So what's the plan?
I guess we're gonna start heading towards that smoke. About how far away is it? Would the owl say?
So when you send the owl up, there's no smoke.
Does the owl recognize where it might be?
Yeah. Is there like a clearing or like burnt trees or anything?
Still more or less towards the edge of the vision. It's
Gotcha.
definitely beyond the forest.
Gotcha. But there's something that you could see was there. Like there was a
Hard to tell. I mean,
hard to tell.
You know, a giant pillar of smoke rises above the horizon. So
Yeah.
What's the range of your owl? Can you send it to scout out and have it come back?
Well, I can send it out, but I can't really
it can only communicate
control
within
it.
a mile.
Yeah, like it can go as like I can see through it and hear through it, like as far as it can
But
go.
while you're
but
doing
like,
that,
yeah,
all of your regular senses are
Yeah.
inhibited.
yeah, I'm a meat sack, and I can't control it past a mile, so it would just be doing its own thing based on my command past a mile.
Well, is it worth doing that instead of us trekking, 20 plus miles in a direction?
Potentially.
So how long do you think it would take your owl to scout up that far and come back?
We don't know how far away it is.
What's
but
the owl
I can-
speed?
It is says it's 60 fly.
Ooh, okay. All right, so it can move twice as fast as all.
Yeah. So I mean,
Well, Echo can move that fast.
yeah.
That goes fast then. Wow.
Sorry.
Echo is a horse.
Yeah, but 60 is a great speed.
You,
I think Buttercup can move like 50.
in consultation with the owl, you believe that it would take the owl 4 hours to fly to a range where it might be able to get a visual and then return back.
Yeah, I'll ask everybody if that's something they'd like me to do before we start moving.
Well, how far are we from the monument?
From the monument, a full
Yeah.
day's travel.
We've only gone that far, huh? Okay.
You got 75% away of the prison of Elberard King.
Really, I thought Elberod was 1 day's journey.
You
distance.
went half speed because you were following tracks.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
Why don't we go towards the monument and send the owl in that direction? Like, can your owl come back to you no matter where you're at? Does it have a good homing sense?
No, but he can dismiss the owl and resummon it.
Ah,
but that's at a cost. Is that not true?
No, it's changing its
Spellcast.
form that costs money.
Okay.
Dismissing and resummoning the owl only takes something like a minute.
Yeah.
If he wants to turn it as cat into an octopus, it's going to be a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, it takes the entire spell's duration, which is
And
like
like
an
500
hour.
gold.
And yeah, like a lot of money.
Not everyone can be Caleb Vidogast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say we just let's just let the owl scout ahead of us as we proceed towards the destination. We'll
Okay.
get there. How long will it take to get there by walking?
Which destination?
The destination. Well, is the
where
monument
we
on
were
the way?
traveling before.
The monument is not on the way to the prison of Yellow King. They're in two
Well,
different
is the
directions.
monument on the way to the fire?
It
No.
is in the same general direction, but the monument is more easternly rather than southerly.
Okay. Let's go towards the fire then. Let's just keep walking, and then let the owl scout ahead.
Excellent.
Sounds good.
Before you make this decision, I want to bring you back to the point where you left looking for adventurers,
Mm-hmm.
and now you have chosen to go in a totally different direction and leave the adventurers.
Well, I
you're
thought
right. You're right, AP. But you brought up the fire.
I
which
should
was
never.
very
There will
interesting.
never be a new plot point in this game until you resolve all of the other ones. I
That's
keep
right.
saying it to myself, and I'm like, oh, well, there's a fire in the distance. And you guys are like, this is now our whole lives. We're going to
Well,
chase
they might
this
have
fire.
been at the fire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they
my
could.
That's
assumption.
right.
It could
That's
be.
what I thought was happening.
Yeah, exactly. That was my assumption.
It's not
Fires-
what's happening.
First off, fires just happen from time to time. It's an relatively uninhabited island with a lot of unregulated wildlife.
Well, maybe they forgot to put out their campfire, and so did a forest fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, fires don't happen in, well, I don't know. It seems like this it rains.
Fires
pretty
of
often
that
here.
size don't necessarily happen accidentally.
Yeah.
Lyra, you have never traveled this path before. If you were going to lead the party, you're going to need to make a survival check.
I'm confused about which way we're going now.
I heard that you're headed directly towards the fire.
Well, now I'm worried about it because now I don't think the people are there. But if we're going towards the fire, I'll go to the fire. Are we going to the fire?
We can pause because the last trail we saw, they were still going east, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
this is more
But then it
suddenly, right?
stopped.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It stopped
So
suddenly, like they just vanished.
Yeah.
Like they just vanished. Okay. And it just stopped in the middle of the road. Okay.
But we did look around because we looked around and we didn't find anything else.
Well, that's not entirely true. The owl
found
did
the
see
fire.
a different clearing in the trees that wasn't the fire.
That clearing was where you've been told the prison of Beelbarad King is.
Yeah.
Is that where he saw movement?
Yes.
So we could go that direction, and if there's nothing there, proceed on toward this fire thing.
I know what this group is going to do. They're going to make the Sophie's choice. 2 people will go to the prison. The
my
other
internet.
2 will go to investigate the fire. It's the only way.
You want to split the party?
Of course.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that. No.
It's a haunted house. Let's
All
all
right.
split up so we can cover more ground.
Let's check out the prison of the Elberod King first, and then go to the fire.
Okay.
Because
Let's be clear. There's currently not a fire.
I thought there was a fire.
No, there
No fire
was a
now.
fire, and
It died
now
out.
this morning there's no longer a fire.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
Then
let's
we can.
go.
I mean, it's not like the fire is a desperate situation anymore.
Yeah. We know about where it was in a direction.
Besides, we can see if Ash's girlfriend is back.
Ooh.
The
Oh,
succubus.
yes, of course, of course.
Uh,
No, you were
Lyra
there
and Ashe
too.
are immediately pained by flashbacks of days singing and dancing.
There is not, tapestries of me in her room, though.
Well, those are gone. So there's not tapestries of me either.
Right.
Right. Those got soaked in acid.
Let's go.
Look, I can't help. I can't help who is attracted to me.
Hey, maybe we're flirting back.
The most Prince Ashe Heiral thing possible. I like to imagine you said that smirking in your full plate mail on top of your horse, and after you said it, you went riding off.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't
Riding
help
off,
who's
but
attracted
then
to
getting
me.
lost.
Prince Ashe Heiral, 2020.
Yeah, riding off, but then getting lost into the forest and coming back and saying, weren't you leading the party, Lyra?
I am slower than your horse.
It's true, it's true.
all right. So is the plan to just see what the prison, if there's anything different, and we're heading to the
He-
monument, or are
He
we?
saw movement at the prison, so we're just gonna stop by and see if they're there real quick.
All right. Let's go investigate there.
Okay. Lyra?
And now we're not following tracks, so we're moving at full speed. Is that correct?
Yes. Several
Nice.
questions.
All right.
Number 1, Lyra. What breakfast dessert are you making for the day?
Oh, I had something, and then it's been a while. Oh, I was gonna make a flower petal brew. So I was gonna boil some flower petals and some sugar, edible flower petals like elderberry blossoms and lavender if there was around, or other edible flowers like roses, dandelions, and then sweeten it with sugar, boil it, and then hand it to everybody, but tell them to wait until it cools because it tastes better cold.
Okay. Let me know when you guys eat that dessert treat.
When it gets
Number
cool.
2, I need a survival
I
check
want it to
from
get
you
cool.
to navigate correctly from this location.
Okie dokie.
I'll eat the treat when it cools because that's my breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay. Each of you gets a number of temporary hit points equal to Lyra's proficiency bonus.
3.
Got it.
You arrive at the prison of El Barad King from a slightly different angle than normal. Still looks more or less the same.
It's got the sign out front.
There is no sign. Instead, there is writing in Infernal written in blood all over the place. There's a lot of repeated character work.
Hey, new guy, do you by chance read this?
Yes, new guy. That's his name.
Terrel.
I think you're muted, Terrel.
Yeah, maybe you're muted. You are muted.
Yeah, sorry, I do not read Infernal.
Yeah, he doesn't.
That's a pity.
Yeah.
I feel like I used to be able to read it, but I can't anymore.
Wow.
Yes, that's a pity as well.
I'm suffering.
Well, I'm gonna look around for tracks to see if there's any signs of these people that we said we saw here earlier.
I will look for tracks as well.
There is a whole lot of blood in the blood braziers. It's all dried, but there's way more of it than normal.
Looks like there's been a heavy traffic to the prison. And
That's
I should
alarming.
proceed to explain the nature of the, like, how you get into the prison to Terrel.
You know, I never noticed that skull before. In the blood.
Yep.
Oh,
Always been there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there is a skull in the blood.
Yep.
I meant it. I've never seen it. Never noticed. Okay.
It's almost like this is a profane prison.
Yeah, and it looks like there's been a whole lot of activity.
But when I say looking for tracks, I'm mainly thinking like on the perimeter or out around it, like if anyone came and went to this spot from outside.
Make a perception check
All right.
at disadvantage.
Nice system.
Yes. You have proficiency in perception?
Oh wait, now I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm pretty
Wait,
sure you
let me-
do.
Nope,
'cause-
I don't.
Wow, really? I thought you had the best perception out of all of us.
I think I do, which is the sad part.
my owl can help you.
I have proficiency in perception.
Oh
Okay.
no, you have the best perception.
Maybe it's a passive 14.
With a 22, Ashe, you and the owl through Terrel work together. And you notice that around some of the blood, there is cloven hoofed footmarks. What looks to have been maybe tail slaps. And at least 2 places, there is as if a great descending force from above pushed some stray blood away in like a wave in every direction. You know what I mean? It's like a blood crater.
Like a shockwave.
Yes.
Like a part in the water sort of thing. I guess I kind of like check my references for what that might look like. And also, I'm wondering if maybe Buttercup has been through here. Or if it's
No.
something else.
Buttercup retired from adventuring,
Oh, okay.
as did Wynn and everybody else from the secondary characters team.
Right.
They all joined Meatheeds.
That's Twitch stream?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so do I know anything about cloven hoofed characters that
Make a religion check.
make blood rituals?
At disadvantage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
Did I system on that?
Yes.
I have religion. I'm good at religion.
maybe I point out this thing to Lyra and she checks.
Too late. You're already thinking about it. You can't
Okay.
stop, Ashe. Now you can't stop. A 13. You believe this to be some form of fiend.
Looks like another fiend's moving in here. I mean, do we
There are
want
2
to
different sites like this.
What
Could
do you
just be
mean?
the same person twice. Could be 2 different ones.
Two different sites within this altar.
Yes. Okay. The altar is quite large. It's 30 foot by 20 foot.
Right. I mean, is this what we want to investigate, or do we want to... I don't think this is where... It's possible this is where the adventures have been taken. If they were
blood.
I mean, if they just up and disappeared, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out.
Is it possible for us to identify the blood? No, probably not.
Would an investigation or a medicine check?
What species the blood is from?
You can make a medicine check.
I would guess that fiend blood is magical. Maybe.
Well,
I'll make a medicine check on it.
I have medicine.
I also have medicine. I'll help you, or you could help me.
All right, doctor.
Yeah.
You go ahead. I'll help you.
Okay.
Two of you set up a forensic unit.
Oh, it only rolled once. Hold on.
Wise.
Boom. It's hard to tell. The blood has been dried for most of a day at the very least. Some of it is older than that. Some of it's a lot older than that. You're pretty sure that several human bodies worth of blood has been spilled here recently. And the thing is, like, it's what you come to believe is that it's going into the 4 recesses, but then people are like painting the ground with it or like splashing in it and throwing it everywhere as if they're playing with it.
It seems like people are playing with the blood once it gets in these bowls. Also, there's a lot of blood here recently, like whole bodies worth of blood. Multiple bodies.
Like 2 bodies worth or more?
More.
I mean, we already knew this place was, not a nice place. I mean, do we want to try and see if we should stop what they're doing in there, or...
Gizmo's for it.
Friends, you make the decisions.
Yeah, you've become leader, which is totally fine. So make the call.
Are we once again going to plunge into the prison of Elrod? King. Okay. I mean, yeah, this is... we definitely can't let this transpire. We don't know if these people might have been taken from the village, or...
It's quite alarming.
Seems alarming to me.
And we did lose the tracks, and this is the direction that they were heading, so it's still the most logical place to investigate.
Yes, I guess. Even without the sign, this place screams, "Do not enter."
There is no sign anymore.
There is no sign.
I said without the sign.
Yes.
It even screams,
I just
"Do not
want to
enter."
make it clear there's no sign anymore.
Well, now I'm not sure if you want us to go in it or not.
I should make myself very clear. I'm not trying to make you go anywhere. If you want to go in, then go in. If you don't want to go in, don't go in.
It's a good thing it's not my decision to make.
I say we go in. I mean, I want to clean this place out. I've been wanting to clean this place out since we've been here.
All right, so let's commit to that.
Is that an agreement between all of us?
Don't die this time, Ashe.
Yes. Yes, that was bad. Echo, do you want to come?
Echo is just like, it's a little crowded in there. Maybe
It's your
the
call.
owl and I should stay out here.
Yeah,
Do we maintain telepathic connection when we're on the other side?
No, because you're
No.
in a different plane.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Fine. Yeah, you stay out here. Keep it safe for us when we get back.
So Greta and Echo.
Yep.
Red Echo and well, I guess unless the owl wants to come with us.
I mean, I'll probably bring it with just in case.
Okay.
I'll describe to you, Terrel, like what's on the inside. This is a hot prison, very dark place. I guess decrepit. It's been home to many a demon since we've been here. We've been here probably about 6 or 7 times.
Okay.
And it's pretty. It can get pretty gnarly. So heads up. Heads on a swivel when we get inside.
So demons and fiend type creatures that we're gonna run into.
That's correct.
It's very hot.
Yeah, we can't
super
stay in here
hot.
for very long.
I hate the heat in there. Also, one of our party members died in there, and then Ashe died, but he's fine now.
Excellent.
Comes with the territory sometimes.
You look like you're gonna die in here, but I hope you don't.
Okay.
You're toast.
Okay.
But let's do it. All right. Let's go in.
I guess I'll make the roll. Probably lose
You're spilling your blood in all 4 of the braziers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it a 1d4?
Yep.
Probably lose my 3 temp health points. 1.
That's what they're.
Still got 2 more.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's music.
Yes. Is that Zelda?
No, this is Drummer Boy. He wrote some custom tracks for tabletop RPG
sweet.
stuff.
Nice work, John.
Speaking of Drummer Boy, he's on my Wednesday night Cyberpunk show that's starting up again this week. So the 4 of you and a Force Ballista and an owl are all standing on the altar as the last drop of blood spills into the 4th brazier, and you are all transported into a circle of stone statues who are all looking at you, making an ominous humming noise. All of them literally are just like... The temperature in here is surprisingly normal. Oh no! Okay, that was Connor doing that. That wasn't me. That was Connor's fault. Audience at home, I was very concerned, but it's Connor's fault.
I want to jump into the Discord and tell Drone Boy this track is hot.
Excellent.
It's awesome.
Terrel, your first thought is that this might be the worst place you've ever been to. There is human viscera that has been artfully splattered around the area. There
Artfully
are
splattered.
infernal runes scrawled into the wall with blood and bodily fluids, where it has been left to dry. There are bits of shattered bone and like leftover. Imagine if you ran a human through a wood chipper and then you had like a pulp afterwards. That pulp is spread around the room here.
Excellent. Sounds like a good time.
It smells horrifying, and I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw right now.
If you're within 10 feet, you get a +3.
Everyone is within 10 feet of you, since you're within the circle of statues.
So I'm just telling everybody.
So 12 for Gizmo.
16.
I think it's a 10.
21.
No one vomits, but all of you are feeling pretty nauseous.
This smell is not normal.
I hate this place.
Yeah. So I
I
suggest.
choose to hold my breath.
You realize that breath that you're going to hold is filled with this smell.
Never mind. I should have done it before I came in.
It's going to be in your mouth for as long as you hold that breath.
It's gonna be in my mouth no matter what now.
Maybe it gets better when you leave this room.
Maybe it gets worse.
You'll get used to it.
So,
Desensitized.
the other thing to note is that the southern tabard, which normally covers up the entranceway and hides it behind itself, has been removed. And so you can see into the south room directly
Oh, okay.
through
What's
the
in
hidden
there?
passageway.
What do we see there?
So after
Okay.
where the tabard would be, no more blood, no more viscera. It's completely dark, but surprisingly normal. You also don't hear the fountain going anymore.
Poison fountain, right?
The acid
Acid.
fountain.
Acid fountain, right?
So I suggest let Gizmo sort of scout at least 30 feet ahead of the group. So if we ever get surprised again, there's less chance of us getting nuked.
or perhaps the owl. But yeah, okay.
If Gizmo goes ahead to scout, then I will tap him on the shoulder and say, may Wellon be with you, and give him guidance.
Terrel, your owl is concerned that it's being used as an expendable asset And it reminds you emotionally, not through like direct speech, but emotionally, that it still feels pain.
I will keep that in mind and not attempt to put it into any danger.
I mean, it's your familiar and it will serve your commands no matter what you tell it to do. But if you continuously use it to scout ahead of you and it gets eaten, it will experience all the pain of being eaten until it hits 0 hit points.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ashe is like, well, that's just pain leaving the body.
Pain is just pain leaving the body, Ashe? Really?
Again, like a man.
Exactly.
I could see why he is the least favored prince to win the throne.
Yeah, I'll actually just bonus action dismiss it.
Swoosh.
Yeah.
So the blessing that you gave me, what is that, a D4 on something?
Oh,
Yes.
it's a D4 on a roll of your choice.
Yes.
Okay.
An ability check.
How long does it last?
A minute.
Okay. Then let's move forward while I am blessed. And I'll go down a little bit south and see what else I can see in that room from the doorway.
I'll ask Ashe and Lyra if the things here are vulnerable to any or resistant to any particular kind of like things.
Radiant is always best.
Radiant is always best. Good to know.
Depends on what we faced. A lot of them have had lightning resistance.
Okay. So don't use lightning stuff. Got it.
Yeah.
Gizmo, do you have dark vision?
Gizmo Halfling does not, but wait. So let me think about this. Because he had to do
Can't
the
you
goggles.
have the goggles?
Because it's totally
Yeah.
dark here.
I do have the goggles because we had to forfeit. Wait, I've got the bag of holding. No, I do not have the goggles because I have the bag of holding and the my weapon. So technically, I don't have the goggles. So, darn it! See, man, it's so much nicer being a gnome.
I can try and wait. No, let me see.
I don't have dark vision yet.
I can give you a light source, Gizmo, if you wish.
You know, we'll have to do that then.
Just try and point it at the ground or something.
I tell you what, cast it on my ballista. I'm going to have the ballista go ahead of me.
All right, I cast.
Gizmo, welcome to my life of adventuring with you guys before.
Yeah. It hurts. It hurts.
I cast light on his ballista.
Okay.
All right. So let me put the ballista right there. So we won't be able to stealth, unfortunately, but we'll have some forewarning.
You rumble the ballista in, leaving Lyra, Terrel, and Gizmo in darkness, but you can see into the next room. You believe you are in good cover, except for the fact that now you're standing in a brightly lit room.
I did roll for stealth, by the way.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm describing.
Yeah.
You think your stealth
Yeah.
is really good, except that there's a huge, brilliant light in front of you. So someone definitely, anyone that's watching will know that you're there.
Yep. Understood.
As a result, you see into a relatively cleaned, empty room. Where before there was dust and dirt, there's nothing. It's just a flat, square, boxy room. You move a little bit farther forward, you see that the fountain is currently empty of anything, except for a pool of blood that is not looping. The blood, however, is in blood form, not blood form. We've also lost Terrel.
While he's gone, put us in a completely different spot in this dungeon, and let's totally screw around with his brain. Wouldn't that be funny though?
Wow.
You can take the gnome. You can take the gnome out of Rob, but you can't take the trickster out of. Wait, no. There's a joke there
right.
somewhere.
There's a little bit of Rick Jackson there, right?
You can take the gnome from Rob, but you can't take the gnome out of Rob. I don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, okay. What do you mean by a box? Like, what does that mean?
I want
by
you
a
to
box?
imagine a room shaped rectangularly with nothing in it. It would look like a box.
What kind of walls are there?
The same stone
Okay.
edifice that you're used to seeing.
So before there was like a river of acid, right? There was a
There was
fountain,
a
but there was
fountain
also.
that had
Fountain in the
acid
lower
in it.
left-hand corner.
I thought
Oh,
there was
right.
also a river of some kind, like a French drain
No.
around it. No.
I remember just being a fountain.
Just the fountain, yeah.
Okay.
Fountain isn't
I
filled
mean-
with blood.
Yeah, we were able to dip things into the fountain. Remember, because you put something in the fountain.
Yes.
You put the
dude.
tapestry in the
Put
fountain.
the
That's
tapestry.
what it
in the
was,
fountain.
yeah. All right.
All right. We're back.
So the AP, the Force Ballista, since it's made out of like virtual materials or whatever, is it more noisy or normal noisy as a person going through the dungeon?
I would say it sounds exactly like a ballista, so there's like little wheels on it that squeak and roll.
That's awesome.
Okay. All right, so we'll have to maybe flip.
I mean, I would say it's as noisy as a person, essentially.
There's like little squeaky wheels on it. That's like terrifying, adding to the ambience of this dungeon. The only
Maybe
sound is
remember you were
squeaking
standing in
wheels.
total darkness, Lyra,
Yes.
holding your
Yeah.
breath as the smell of human decay is
No,
around
I
you.
stopped holding my breath.
With squeaky wheel noises.
Like an
The
evil
ballista.
clown
The ballista
palace.
makes noises as it moves.
Ah, now I understand
Okay,
what
so
Connor's
if
drawing.
the
It's
room's
Lyra looking
clear,
at the blood.
Gizmo
Yeah,
will
you
come
couldn't
on
tell?
up and listen at this door.
Okay,
Hey, it looks cool.
make a perception check.
Perception.
Yeah, I guess you don't have dark hair. You have like lighter hair, right?
It's like white or silver.
Yeah.
You can keep it dark. It looked fine.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter. I'm just sketching around till we get something else to draw.
Mhm.
Well, if nothing's,
Are you
I'm gonna-
deciding the DC?
Can I follow Gizmo? Do you think I should be following you?
Yeah, I think constantly hang back at 30 feet or so.
How far is 30 feet?
At least 20, right? I mean, from our experience, we know that area effect spells, if they were targeted on me, they could go 20 feet past. If someone targets past me, they can go even further. So I think, 30 plus feet is probably realistic.
I'm gonna keep you within eyesight. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
As you stand at the door, Gizmo, you hear nothing coming from the other side.
All right, so hand signals to Ashe that, don't hear anything. And I'm going to check the door. I can't remember if this door has locks or not.
It is not locked.
Okay.
I'm gonna signal for people to follow, and maybe look at Terrel and point at the fountain. Maybe he wants to check it out if it's got some kind of evil incantation on it.
Literally filled with blood.
Yeah, I mean it's in Infernal, so I can't read it. Although, does the Infernal symbols, are any of them similar to the ones that we jotted down on that piece of paper?
So those symbols were on the walls of the room that you came in on. They are not on the fountain. The fountain is just a fountain filled. Still
Okay.
super scary.
Don't do anything. I'm sure it's summoning stuff.
Sure. I didn't know if we could detect magic or something like that.
You could certainly attempt detect magic on it.
Yeah, I can't right now.
Okay. I don't know how being a mage works, so I'm just sort of throwing stuff around.
Literally has a
Yeah, but I only got to play one session with her.
claims to not know. All right, so this door is made entirely out of bone, Gizmo. You're opening it up?
I'm going to tell everyone back off more because you're getting close to me again.
Okay.
Again, do the space, but spread out so we don't get any group nukings. And yeah, I'm going to open up the door.
The door opens. Inside, familiar sight of tables, bookshelves, books, gone. This room is also completely empty. However, based on your earlier perception roll, you notice that the secret hatch in the floor where you found some treasure is currently just ever so slightly off, as if there's something in there, like too much stuff has been piled up.
How do you click on the map again so it does a circle?
You have to hold left click.
Hold left click. This one. Duh. Okay, so simple. All right. Okay, so is that room lit at all?
No.
All right, so the ballista goes in first to there. Do I see the entire room now?
Yes. As
Okay.
you do, following things happen. The door on the left-hand wall, this door right here, explodes outwardly. The floor panel also explodes upwardly as two creatures emerge and immediately begin beating the shit out of the ballista, unaware that they really can't damage.
So everyone's making noise. I'll tell these guys we got an ambush. Can I ID these creatures?
Well, you can make an initiative roll, and then we will ID.
Understood.
So just to describe what these creatures look like, we're talking hulking figures, about 9 feet tall. Their heads are set very close to their chest rather than on top of their shoulders. There are places where their organs are very visible on the inside. They have wounds that are not bleeding. They have the equipment of a warrior, insofar as they're both carrying like large sticks, which for the rest of you are more like tree trunks, and a little bit of tattered armoring. Ashe, is it?
Oh my goodness.
That's weird. It's not calculating my initiative correctly. That should actually be a 13 the way that math is calculating. Oh well, that's fine. You just leave it as 10.
No, I mean you can change it. I can also change it. And done. You're not the Force Ballista. Your name is Gizmo Rumplestomp.
Yep. I just say initiative plus 0.
Wow. Incredible.
Oh, nice. For once.
Hell yeah.
Now, let's talk about the Force Ballista. My recollection is that it can't be damaged because it's like ethereal.
No, it can be destroyed.
Well, then it's about to get a whole bunch of beat down.
Yeah, let me go find the exact terminology. It has a few hit points. Hold on. Equipment, no features and traits.
There's an AC of 18 and a number of hit points equal to 5 times your artificial.
There you go.
Okay, so some rules quick.
I'm 5th level artificer.
So 25.
Yep, 25 hit points.
It's going down. If I know anything about 25 hit points.
The 18 AC might help it.
Yeah, come on. It's a tough little thing.
You know, I had 18 AC once.
All right. So
Bullets
they
bounced right off of it.
let's be really clear. They don't miss because you floated in there and they jump out and they slam into it. It literally just magically repels them. Like one of the guys hits dead on and the log that he's holding just slides down the length of it as if it's greasy. And he's The other one just like uses its log like a lance, and it like pokes the ballista, and the ballista does a 360 spin, but it is not hurt by the push. Lyra Fulbright.
If I move here, can I see them?
Yes, you can see at least one.
Can I roll to see what it is?
Yes, it's a religion check. You identify these creatures as ogre zombies. They are large undead brutes. They are unable to be poisoned, and you have reason to believe that they are under the command of some sort of necromancer to plan such a attack, because normally they're incapable of such independent action.
I'll say, guys, heads up there. The zombies, there's probably a necromancer around here somewhere. They can't be poisoned.
The final important thing is, if they are killed without radiant damage, there's a chance that they will simply revive themselves immediately.
Oh, you need to kill them with radiant damage.
What do you want to do, Lyra?
Can I cast Guiding Bolt, I suppose?
Yes.
I will attempt to cast Guiding Bolt at the one I can see.
Very well.
At 3rd level. Does a 19 hit?
Does.
21.
You slam into the back of this creature. It does not seem to react in pain or anything. In fact, it doesn't even turn or acknowledge you've hit it at all. However, as part of your guiding bolt spell, I believe that it now is illuminated and people have advantage
Yes.
on their next attack against it.
Once I cast it, can I just step back this way?
Yes. Gizmo Rumplestomp. Your loyal horse Ballista getting smacked on. Oh wow, incredible. I just looked over at Connor's drawing. You can see the two of them leaning their head around the corner as the crossbow is just there.
Wow. That poor crossbow.
I fucking love this thing, man. Force Ballista is my new favorite character. It's been around for so long, but I didn't know it was so good.
It's the unsung hero.
You're muted.
Me?
No.
Jeff.
Connor, you're amazing that you can draw these things as they happen. I hate you. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty rough looking, but yeah, I mean, it just gets the job done a little
Come on, the
It's
point
adorable.
Of view, yeah, the point of view from the ground looking up at us. Come on, that's awesome. Okay.
I also hate you, Connor. I just felt like it's important to get that in there.
for other reasons.
Yeah. Okay, so Gizmo will take a shot at the one that that Lyra hit with his weapon.
You have advantage.
Get advantage.
With advantage, all right. So there's one roll.
A 14 will hit.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, good. I don't have to do 2 rolls. And so yeah, just 5 piercing damage. That's the whole damage.
No sneak attack or anything?
Thank you. It's been so long. We'll do the sneak attack.
I was gonna say, you usually do more.
Hey, I am very much out of practice, so let's see.
No, that's fair. I couldn't remember why you did more damage. I just knew you usually did more.
Okay, so 6 more points. Now the ballista can move a little bit, so I'm going to have it move on this side. Oh wait, no wait. Only to here, so that doesn't do opportunity. The intent is to kind of keep their attention. And it's going to fire... It'll fire at the same one.
Okay. Yes.
All right. And...
Oh, sorry, it doesn't have advantage, right? Because you've already used it. So that
it doesn't have advantage anymore.
Oh, I assumed it was everyone. So no advantage.
No, it's just one attack against advantage.
It goes to fire.
Gotcha.
As it 10-second cars its way north, and then does a 3/4 turn back towards its original position. It fires its ballista bolt, and it like destroys part of the ear and then slams into the ceiling without significant damage to zombie.
Okay. And I'll take 2 squares back, and that'll be my turn.
Terrel?
I cannot see into the room where I am, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You can kind of maybe see one zombie.
Can I
maybe.
see that spot right there?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna drop a flame sphere right there.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So that's a dex save on their end.
Fortunately, they were born to me.
I don't know if you're being sarcastic or serious.
They're zombies. They have a negative dexterity. Is it called flaming spear? I'm trying to get the rules.
Yeah,
to
it's
spell.
flaming. It's flaming spear.
Are you editing
like a
the
mini
damage
fireball.
at all using your special ability, or are you going to leave it flaming?
I will. I can't make it radiant yet, so I will leave it flaming for now.
Fire works well,
Yeah.
I think.
What's your spell save?
14.
They both fail.
Excellent. So they take 8 fire damage each.
Okay.
And that'll be my turn.
Ashe Heiral.
Yes, sir. I have a question. Can these creatures get into? Let's see if I can.
Yes, they can squeeze through doors.
Into the alcove. Also, can
yes.
they? Can they stand inside the alcove?
You mean
It came
this
out of the
alcove?
alcove.
It came out of that alcove.
Okay.
It was like 10 pounds of zombie in a 5-pound bag, but it burst forward out.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say for hammer hold and then charge it, and then let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna carve him up like a Thanksgiving turkey.
Those will both hit.
For 20 damage. How hurt do these things look?
Well, one of them looks like it was just barely singed by a flaming sphere. The one that you're
Well-
attacking seems a little bit more hurt.
But still pretty hale and healthy as far as
Correct.
zombies with the guts exploding out
Yes.
look like. Okay.
You want to do something?
Nope. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your armor class right now?
21.
How many rounds has it been since we walked into the room, like from the other room?
To this room?
Yeah. How long did it take us to get to this fight?
Maybe about a minute or two, depending on how slowly you explored.
Because Gizmo might still have his guidance.
Doesn't that only work for one skill check?
Yes,
Yeah, he gets to choose when it goes, though.
correct.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I think I asked you what your AC was and then immediately forgot what your answer
21.
was. All right. So,
It's also the blue thing there. I think I have it also here. But I gotta edit it. It's wrong there.
so the first zombie pretty much keeps your attention, doing exactly what you'd expect a zombie to do. Repeatedly slam its massive log up against you over and over again. You deflect it with your shield and armor. The second zombie, as if out of nowhere, does a sweeping side smash that practically throws you into the next room. You take 19 points of damage.
Just but a scratch.
It's not but a scratch. Your armor's magical paint has been scratched, and you can feel a slight denting there. Lyra, Fulbright.
I am going to cast Guiding Bolt at second level this time.
Okay.
On. Well, I'm going to move here first so I can see. Can I see this one from here?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll cast it at that one.
Fantastic. And as soon as your turn's over, we're going on break, which I should have done before your turn.
Did a 14
will
hit? 9 more radiant damage.
Okay. Friends, we'll be back for the second half shortly. Stick around, or don't. I'm not in charge. I'm only in charge of the stream, not your life.